What is the biggest impact that has affected you working here compared to like other jobs?
I didn't realize how many homeless families we have in San Antonio. That was the biggest impact that I've had, because you don't see that. You only see the single men and women here and there, but you never see the families. You know, to see the families with small children out there, that's what really affected me.
Do you know where they usually like stay? Like you had mentioned word of mouth. How do they find out about this place?
Where the families stay? I was never aware, not even of our shelters that we had here in San Antonio, Texas. The only one was, we had one on Hackberry that had opened recently. Hackberry between 35 and downtown, right around there. That was the only shelter I've ever known about.
Yeah. So what makes this shelter different from other shelters?
The resources that it has, that it's giving to them. You know, it's hard even for just your average person to have insurance. If you don't have a good job, you don't have insurance. For 20 years, I was a legal assistant. I didn't have insurance. They have insurance here. I never even knew the resources that we have in our own community as far as dental, medical, eyeglasses. I come to find out that they're out there and they work with you. They work with your income. We have a San Antonio Christian Dental, we have the eye clinic, and we have Central Med. Everything here is given to our members for free.
So would you say that the way you look at homeless people is completely different now?
I think it changes everybody's perspective once you get to know them and you get to meet them, and they're real people. We are all one paycheck away. That's how I feel from being where they're at. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the realization hits you when you meet them, because you talk to them and you realize that that's all it took.
Yeah.
One bad divorce, you know, getting laid off from work.
It's like anyone can be homeless in a way.
Any of us can have. It can happen to any of us at any time.
So, I know someone came into our class saying, like, when you think of homeless people, like, what do you think of? Was your first impression, like, just the people on the side of the streets, like, lazy workers that are, like...
Yes, the people that come up to you when you're leaving the mall or the restaurant. You have $1 I can borrow? It's like, borrow, I'll never see that again. You know what I mean? But you give it to them, and you're like, why aren't they working?
So when you see people now, do you tell them to come here?
Yes.
Yeah? Are they pretty willing and pretty acceptive?
Most of them, yes. The ones that we've come across, yes. And there's some that they're resistant. They don't want to do it. They don't want to change.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
So if you were to say, like, one thing people need to know about homelessness, what do you think it would be?
My biggest impact on homelessness right now are the soldiers.
Soldiers, yeah.
That are coming out right now. I mean, we have a lot of Vietnam vets. And maybe because I'm partial to them, I have 4 sons in the Army.
Oh, wow.
And I'm seeing how they're coming out and we're inheriting.
Why do you think that is?
There's not enough help for them.
Yeah.
It's the exposure's not out there. All the information that they're going through. You know, and one thing that we don't understand is that there's a lot of mental illness out there. And they're coming out with mental illness and the PTSD. Citizens and soldiers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because it's weird, because when I see commercials, I see like all the benefits they have, and then when they come back, it's like, where did that go?
Yeah. You know, they're willing to give you all this money to enlist, and you'll never see it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For hope and all the organizations that can help.
Yeah. Well, I was at PCY from...
What's PCY?
PCY is who we feed. That's the court though.
So they make it pretty comfortable for you to
Yeah.
stay there? I mean, just feed you, have a place to stay. I would not necessarily say safe, as of what I've just heard.
No, it's
but
not safe.
At least it's a place.
It's a place, and where I slept at, most of the guys sleep around me. It was like, yeah, we're gonna be your family now. Da 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 da. You ain't never leaving. We ain't never leaving. Okay, one of these days I gotta leave. Y'all gotta have to grow up, because guess what? I'm not staying here. And then they're like, what? You going over across the other side, ain't you? Yeah.
So you knew the whole time that this was just a temporary situation.
This is
for
just
you.
a stepping stone for me.
How long have you been here?
A year.
A year?
A year, this past 1st of March. Yeah.
And so when you got here, you were volunteering at the St. Vincent de Paul's, and I guess they noticed your work and said, hey, we could use you eventually. Is that what happened?
Well, I stayed in, came out, came in, came out, take breaks. Then they said, well, we're going to send you over to the member side. I was like, okay, don't want to go, but okay.
Explain the member side for the people.
Member side is different from the PCY side. PCY, you sleep out there on the mat, on the concrete, open air.
Yeah, I saw that.
You do not get all the benefits such as going back to school, job coaches, counselors, group meetings, depending on what your social sexual life is. And some people go in there, they just go there, sleep, eat, and don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas some people go there, they work, they try to get up out of there, and because that's not them.
Yeah.
And the member side, they'll try to help you get out of there too.
They help you to get further into
Back into mainstream society. Okay.
They're trying to re-educate you on how to pay bills, how to clean your place up, how to keep your place clean, find new jobs. Well, to help find you a job, they will. If you need a GED, you got classes over here for that. If you get
all free.
Computer illiterate, they will train you in here to work on a computer.
And everything
It's all
is
free.
It's all free. Okay.
Have you been doing all of that?
I haven't done the computer classes. I've been doing the GED class. None of my family knows about it, and I ain't telling them.
And so
I don't
why,
either.
So why why wouldn't everybody go to the member side if they get more? What is the difference? What
The
are they?
person.
Okay, but is there anything else that is different from the member side compared to the other side?
The people.
Do they have to?
Are the people more like
You said
determined?
it's a member. Usually, a member, you have to have a commitment, or what do they have to do to be accepted into the member side?
They have to prove to themselves that not only themselves, but the member side committee, however you want to look at it, they have to prove to them that they want to be over here. He was like, how'd you know that? I said, I got cooking experience. I'll cook you every day of the week. He was like, okay, make this dressing. Okay, here you go. And Jane looked at me and says, boy, you do know what you're doing.
Yeah.
How come you don't just go on over to the member side now? We could put in a referral, get you over there, then we can get you back over here as a BA, and get you in the cooking class, and then we can get you everything you need. I was like, not right now. Time is not for me. He was like, okay. But when you get over there, you let me know. Yeah, I'll let you know. Well, they all done left the kitchen, and we got this new crew in there, and they're like, well, we run the kitchen. Yeah, right.
Then the food was probably terrible. What they were
And that
putting out.
food was terrible. Well, our food wasn't as terrible as the food banks. They have that $1 million kitchen over there, and they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And when I first came over here, I was like, I gotta eat this garbage. No, go back over there. So I called, I went to the guard shack and I told them, I said, get me back over there. No rules, they gotta come and request you to come back over there. Well, I went in there and volunteered. He said, well, go over there and volunteer in the kitchen. You know what you're doing anyway. I said, food bank sucks. And they were like, go on over there. You might spruce up the food a little bit. I went over there and worked at lunch. They was like, well, yeah, we need you for dinner too if you want to stay. I was like, okay, yeah, I'll stay. We need to steal this guy from you. Really? Okay. But I don't want him to go. Yeah, well, we need to come make our meatloaf for us. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back over there, and I was stuck over there again. Hadn't got on payroll,
Yeah.
and I was still volunteering for like a month.
But they knew they wanted you.
Yeah, the whole crew just left them, and they shipped them out to the warehouses and stuff like that. The new crew came in, Jessica, she was like, are they hiring you? Here's your paperwork. I said, yeah, I guess they are. Well, you gotta fill your paperwork out and turn it in. Come on, get your job, get you some money.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, whatever. I was better off because I could come and go when I wanted to.
Yeah.
When you're on payroll, then you know you gotta do what they tell you to. You gotta go by their rules. And they was like, well, what's for dinner? You're the chef, you tell me. So now I done got the role back as probably the lead in the kitchen, but they all come to me. Rufus, we need this. Rufus, we need that. What are we gonna do? We got this, we got that. Well, mix this, that, and these. No.
I can tell you when we were there, the food smelled great. That turkey y'all were cooking smelled fantastic.
You ain't seen nothing yet. I'm in there on the night and I'm making meat.
Oof. I love meatloaf.
We'll come.
Hey man, I'm telling you. It used to be chicken night over at PCY that they would line up with everybody out there. Now it's if I make meatloaf,
They know.
Rufus is making meatloaf, and all it takes is one person to know, and they get the word circulates. It's about 400.
So that's where you were meant to be the whole time, but this place is getting you to be do your thing.
I don't think it was that I was meant to be in that kitchen.
You're meant to cook, maybe.
Nah.
Well, you're good at it.
I know.
Do you like it? Like, do you like cooking? Do you like the work?
It just comes natural to you to cook?
Well, yeah, I like the work. It's just things that comes natural to me because I can sit there and visualize what I'm doing, and I don't go by recipes.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a skill not everybody has. I
Yeah.
can tell you, my wife is a horrible cook.
I cannot.
And you,
I have to read the box. Like macaroni.
You tell me, just like one night, me and my sister-in-law, and my ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, she was sitting there and she says, honey, what you cooking? Well, it is, I forget what holiday it was. I think it was Christmas Eve, New Year's. And I had my foster dad come over. He made chicken wings and tuna noodle salad, macaroni salad. And he was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm making macaroni and cheese. He said, well, how come you never cooked for us when you was at home?
and so now that you're running the kitchen pretty much, while you're transitioning, is that you think that's where you're going to end up cooking? Have someplace?
My goal is to own my own business out here as a restaurant or catering service. I got to think about that. Catering, you got to learn pastries, and that's something that I'm not good with.
And it's serving other people. But
Serving other people doesn't bother me. I serve anywhere from $250 to $300-400 a day per meal. So I'm cooking and a lot of food.
yeah.
It's not like I'm just sitting here saying, okay, we got enough food here for 50 people. We'll just serve that and just shut the doors. No, we're cooking from 600 to 700 pieces of chicken.
Dang.
Yeah, I saw a lot of that chicken. Y'all were getting
That's
ready
a lot.
for dinner while we were doing a lunch.
And we're cooking not in like 8 convection ovens. We're cooking in 2.
Oh.
And one
Whole
of
lot of
them's a
time.
small easy bake.
That's not good.
So it's almost like a 24-hour type of thing.
Yeah, but we
Because
cook it.
y'all don't
and-
have enough what y'all need.
No, and that's where the funding comes in. If we don't get enough funding, then we won't be able to expand the building because that's what we're working on now.
So who helps fund? Just like
Private donations.
private donations?
And so now that you said you've been here about a year, where do you want this place to help you go? You want your own business?
I want my own business. I mean, I'm still, even if, once I got my own business, that I'm still, like I said, one day out of the week that I will shut my doors. I will shut the doors and just come back over here and bring my crew with me and say, hey, look, boom, y'all go in there and do it.
Okay, so for all the people that are out there that don't have a place to go, don't have nothing to eat, what are you going to tell those people about this place?
It is a life-changing experience.
My name is Jason Gershner. I'm currently an intake specialist at Haven for Hope. I'm a former member and graduate of Haven for Hope, and proud to work here because what we do does save lives. And I know that not because I've seen lives saved, but because mine was saved as well. I have a friend who worked with CHCS who is currently working with me as a client. I was diagnosed bipolar, probably had a lot to do with drug use off and on.
Yeah.
I've been misdiagnosed several times since then. I've been diagnosed as a little bit hyper. Well, yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, that would
taking
that would
medications
make me
for
angry.
you that don't really do anything for you is difficult.
Yeah.
But she brought me here. Now she oversold it because she had never been here. She was like, "I know this place. It's like a hotel." And I showed up here and I was like, "Oh my God, you liar!"
It's not like.
But I got in the door. She got me here, which is the most important thing. Getting somebody here where they can realize change is possible. I sat across in the chair you're in now. Probably not in this office, but it was a long time ago. I sat in a I sat in a chair and a lady across the desk from me named Lori Ashby just heard me out, all my concerns about the place and what I was going through, and simply just said, "It's going to be okay. You're in the right place."
Yeah.
And I needed that. I needed to hear that because I hadn't been in the right place for a really long time. And I take that to each client I see now. You're in the right place. Just relax. Let's get the primary concern out of the way, and we'll deal with whatever comes up after that. And that's shelter. Stable place to live. Most important thing. But that's how I got here.
Yeah.
And then I stayed here for 3 months, 4 months maybe, I don't know, 2010. Left, got my own place. Gave me enough time to separate from everybody I knew. And then I came back and volunteered. Finished out a probated sentence that was for the felony, and then became an employee here.
Oh wow,
So
that's really good.
it was a deferred
That's really
probation, went off my record. So I was employable again.
cool. Yeah.
And
That's really
I'd been volunteering for 9 to 11 months, something like that. And as soon as I was off the probation, a month later, I was an employee here, fully staffed. So
That's awesome. That's a cool story.
yeah, it works.
Yeah.
So
And this isn't like another like expensive like rehab facility that like tries to do all these steps with you either, is it?
no, it's completely free.
Yeah.
In fact, the rehab facility, the in-house recovery program for drug and alcohol is county funded, and so is the wellness program for mental illness to get people stabilized and correctly diagnosed.
Yeah.
And the IHRP program for addiction is 90 days, and the wellness program is anywhere from 120 days to as long as it takes to stabilize a person and get them self-sufficient again.
No, that's awesome. Because I
And then-
know other places that I've heard my friends go to are really shorter, and they try to like
But
cram all
they're
this
28
stuff.
or 30 days. They try and cram everything in and give you some sort of weird plan on what you're going to do when you go right back to the circumstance you were in.
Yeah.
Our initial plan for everybody is to leave the recovery program and go on to campus with case management and keep working actively on their recovery.
Julian Ledesma. I am the volunteer coordinator here at Haven for Hope. I've been working. At first, I was in the human resources department, basically locked in a cage.
Oh, no.
In the human resources
Behind
department.
a computer.
Yeah, and so this position, believe it or not, I've been in it for about a month, and the process was pretty bad as far as getting the volunteers in, and the clearance process was taking way too long, so we condensed that severely. It was
The clearance process?
the clearance process.
What's
So
that?
everybody that comes and works at Haven for Hope, they basically first have to take a tour. Second, they have to do a criminal background check, where basically don't care about anything else other than you cannot be a sex offender.
Yeah.
And then that in itself was costing people $36. So if you wanted
wow.
to volunteer here, you would have to pay $36.
Now it's only $5,
Yeah, now
right?
it's only $5.
$5.
So that was one of the things
Good
that
job.
I first changed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, how can we ask someone to pay $36?
Oh, you want to help? No, yeah, $36.
Yeah, and people paid it, you know, and that was what was amazing. But I felt that clearance process was taking way too long. Since I'm a volunteer, I know what I want to feel when I go volunteer. And if someone were to ask me for that amount of money, I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I would just think twice.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the first things that we changed. and I'm seeing an influx of people calling, emailing. It's actually kind of scary, the amount of people that are.
That's good.
That are, yeah, it's a good thing. It's just this job has proven to be very, very time consuming. So a lot of hours after 5, a lot of Saturdays and Sundays.
Do you know how many people like come in to intake to like stay, like become residents?
As far as that goes, it's a lot. I don't know the specific number. I want to say maybe at least 70 to 100 people a day.
A day? Wow.
It's amazing.
I didn't know that was so much.
And when we opened Haven for Hope, it took 2 days, so 48 hours to fill us up. And we have been completely full since that time. And so when you start the process at intake, the first thing that's going to happen, either you're a single man, single woman, or a family, you're going to get placed on a wait list. And that wait list is going to take maybe a month, maybe a couple days.
Do people still stick, like come back after that, after hearing
Absolutely.
that?
So we first they begin the process there at intake, and then they hear the situation. They put them on the wait list. They unfortunately inform them we're working off of wait list because we're so full. And then after that, we figure out other different shelters, other different nonprofits. So we definitely give them options. We don't say, here's the wait list, you're on it, deuces.
See you in a month.
Yeah, no. We definitely handle it from there. So we start calling different entities and other nonprofits, and then we give them options at that point.
So what was your favorite like story, favorite thing that
Success
moved
story.
you?
Well, there's been so many. I know that we have had plenty of the children that stay here. We have about 185 students, give or take.
Wow.
And the average age is about 6 years old. And so if any of these children that were here and they are no longer here, if they get accepted to a college, we think that's a success story in itself. We've had one child get a 4-year scholarship to Baylor. Not child, but he's a young adult.
That's my wife's
So it's amazing, that the things that happen. Yesterday we had 71 volunteers come in here, and it's just any volunteer that comes in here, all this influx of people calling me, wanting to be volunteers, the 71 people, it just restores humanity, that there's people who just want to give back.
And the bus comes and picks them up here?
Well, that company that came in was Vision Works, which is basically iMasters.
Yeah.
And they are doing something different with their company, and it was a total of 71 actually who came yesterday, and they were VPs, directors, AVPs, all the high
I'm
people.
talking about getting the kids to the schools. The school buses come and
I'm
pick them
sorry.
up, or how do they
Okay,
get to the school?
as far as the schools go for the children, when we get a new family, depending on what district they're in or what side of town they're in, the state of Texas has allowed them to stay at their school. And the independent school district is responsible for them to send a bus over here to pick up the child and take them back to their normal school, so that way they're not interrupted
Like a limo
whatsoever.
service.
Yeah, definitely.
Private bus
And they
service.
don't feel like exposed to other
Ostracized, or
students,
just that they have
but
they have to start a new life, a new school. They don't have to do that at all.
That's good.
And of course, they have the option to begin a new school in the area also.
Right.
But the school buses come and pick them up.
Nice.
Is there anything that you would want to share to the students who would watch this video? Like any one message that you want to share about homelessness?
Any of the higher ups wanting to make donations, how they go about
We
that?
always accept donations, and we always want people to volunteer back. I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
To tell the message that you would want to share about homelessness.
About
like one thing that, like us, we didn't know anything about homelessness until like we came here.
Well, basically, because I have to do it from a volunteer perspective, but even though we're getting this influx, there's still a huge need. There's a lot of children that there's a lot of playrooms that we have that are empty because we have no monitors, and the kids they just look in the room. We can't let them in the room because we need people to monitor them. This is a nonprofit, so we basically, any job. If any of y'all start working for nonprofit agencies, you'll know it's like 3 jobs in one. And we need volunteers. We need volunteers. Absolutely, and there's so many different departments. Haven for Hope, it's not just Haven for Hope. We work with other 85 different nonprofits. So that's what kind of separates us from this volunteer center from everywhere else, is that you get the choice to volunteer at Haven for Hope or all the 85 different nonprofits that are here on our campus. So you get your choice. And I think that's just, it's poignant that people need to know that we're still in need of volunteers.
All it takes is a $5 donation for your criminal background check, and they're good to go.
A tour, and that's it. You're good to go. We can do this all in one day. So try to call other nonprofits. It takes a couple weeks.
Correct.
Sweet.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Julian.
No problem.
Hello world, how you been? Good to see you, my old friend.
I fell on hard times and I left, and I started drinking.
Deep depression, major depression, and domestic violence. And I ended up in the street.
Drug problems and dysfunctional relationships, and it progressed and got worse. I ended up losing my nursing license. I had completely lost everything.
I went through a marriage that dissolved. I lost a job because of my disability.
I just got out the penitentiary, and I went to another place, and Haven for Hope was recommended for me to go there.
Well, I've been fighting homelessness for quite a while now, but I kind of settled on heroin for over 22 years. I was stuck on that.
I was a successful corporate account exec for a major computer company. I had a very healthy salary, a home. My mom lived with me in Atlanta, and she got sick. San Antonio was her home, so I brought her here. She passed away, and my life just tanked in major depression. I just lost hope.
I was assaulted and beat up by a few people, and I was injured quite bad. Due to the fact that I was injured and couldn't work, the place where I was living, the apartment complex I was living in, evicted me. I was homeless. It wasn't supposed to happen to me. I mean, I'm an educated man. I'm accredited. These things aren't supposed to happen to a guy like me, so I thought.
They had a new program opening called the In-House Recovery Program for Women that December, and it was suggested, and I was like, no, I don't have a problem. I'm not like them. In denial. And I'll never forget, and that night I prayed, and I woke up that next morning on the 29th with this fire that I needed to do whatever I needed to do, and I had to surrender. I had 15 years of sobriety, 15 years, I wish, 15 months of sobriety.
I've had issues with substance abuse my whole life, and I would quit for a while, and I would think that I'm dealing with the problem. Okay, Mark, you have this part of this aspect of it, you got to get rid of some of your old friends, and you have to do this aspect. And I thought I was doing it right, but I wasn't. You have to deal with the core issues of what originally made you start wanting to be someone that you weren't, or to change your feelings. And it wasn't until I came here that I actually did that.
I was raised in the church, but I was not spiritually connected, and I found my spiritual connection here.
I knew God had something that He was doing in my life. I had to first find who He was, and then He put direction in my life through Haven.
Spiritualism's right there, and it's all over that place. It's all over that place.
The spiritual part of my life right now is the thing that I'm really relying on. I really don't know what the future holds, but I know who holds the future right now for me.
We're not putting a roof over people's head and just put food in their stomach. They're actually teaching them to go back to work, to read, to get your GED, to go to college if you want to.
I had a course study of basic financial knowledge, social skills, just certain requirements that I needed to attend certain classes on a regular basis. Everybody has to do that. And I was happy to do that because I learned a lot of things.
I started doing classes, and I began a part of the job training program. I chose custodial, the custodial program. Somebody must have noticed my dedication and decided to hire me on. I just like to take a messed up floor and transform it, sort of like my life, you know, and make it new again.
I was introduced to job coaches and took part of resume classes. I'm a sales associate at Furniture for a Cause. I really enjoy working here. I love working with the customers.
I work at Toyota Texu, at the Toyota plant. I'm considered a team member where there's parts control, where I feed the line to where they're building Tundra trucks and Tacoma trucks. I got my job lead through Haven for Hope. See, with Haven for Hope, what they do is they'll give you job leads and give you all the tools you need to go find a job. And they gave me coaching for the interview and stuff like that. And I did exactly what they taught me, and right on the spot, I got the job.
I went ahead and went with the on-the-job training program. My job is to be support to those seeking the services through the Center for Healthcare Services, whether it be mental or housing, but I'm there to reassure them that it's possible. I have been through the same situation.
So Alamo Colleges has a representative here, and I took the Active test and I started school last spring, and I tell you what, I liked it. If you would have asked me a year ago if I'd have been going to school and liking going to school, I'd say, you're crazy. And I never would have even had that opportunity if I didn't come here.
I am a customer service rep at KGB here in San Antonio. I accept calls for one of our clients and dispatch repair technicians to resolve whatever problems they're having with the product.
It's leaving, knowing that you're on your own again. It's freedom, but knowing that you're able to be self-sufficient.
I have my own little apartment. It's a single-bedroom apartment. You couldn't imagine the feeling of going into your own apartment, going to take a shower, coming out, sitting at a table, fixing something to eat, ordering a pizza, watching TV, reading the newspaper. I mean, it was a totally different environment for me.
I celebrated my 58th birthday in Prospect Courtyard. And now, 2 years later, I'm going to celebrate my 60th in my own place. And it's the first time in about 4 years that I've been able to be in my own place of residence, fully employed, self-sufficient, and if it weren't for Haven, it would have taken me a heck of a lot longer to achieve that.
Even have the family dorms, and to see kids out there that somebody told me that the families were homeless and living out of cars, some of them with their kids, and they're here and the kids are out in the courtyard playing. That is absolutely beautiful.
I lost my job, I lost my house, lost my car. Just things didn't work out, so I decided to make a decision for my kids, and so I left there and I went to Haven, and I got there, and as soon as I got there, it was just, as soon as I got there, they helped me, fast. Caseworker, Christina was just perfect. Everything was just good. I got on the road fast, and waste no time, and 8 months later, I got my GED, and I was out of there. Everything's just good. I like it.
I have custody. He'll be finished school in May. So in May, he'll be living with me 100%. He came out on a Christmas holiday and spent the month with me. So We had our first Christmas in a long time with just me and him here at this apartment that Haven for Hope gave me.
I'm a single mom, and I'm blessed to have 4 beautiful children. And we were doing okay for a while until I became ill, and I had to have surgery. And then there was complications, and I couldn't work for a long time. And I don't have any other supplemental income coming in or anything like that. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. My family has nothing. We're just glad to be able to stay together and stick together, and that Haven has given us that opportunity. They've given us shelter and comfort. Besides room and board, there's a great support team here that is willing to help you in any way that they can.
When I was at the bottom and rock bottom, and I felt hopeless, I remember crying on my knees and asking God for help. Where I used to cry from despair, now I cry from joy.
I really like Haven for Hope. I tell everybody that. It might sound funny, but I really like it because it's giving me a new life. It's making me still a better person, and most important, a better father.
I've been truly blessed by everybody here. Everybody's been shown compassion and their love, and it's helped me, and it's changed my life. You know.
I've got my housing on my own, a full-time job, permanent, so I am very happy, counting my blessings and being very, very grateful to Haven for providing all that they were able to provide.
I'm not going to limit myself anymore. I'm not going to put limitations on myself like I used to before. I would say, Mark, you're not going to be able to do that. You're not going to do that. They won't accept you. As long as I accept myself for what I am and what I've done, and just carry on from there, there's no telling what the future holds for me.
I want to be an example for success to the people that I meet. I want to work with Haven for Hope, showing folks that are in the position that I was 2 years ago that, yes, you can do it.
It's so good to see what can happen with those of us that have to fall into downtime. Made me stronger. Wouldn't have happened to me had not been for Haven for Hope. Wouldn't have happened. Don't know where I'd be. Not real sure. I'm loving life. Can't wait for tomorrow. Can't wait till tomorrow.